So in this part, we're going to talk about some elements of programs that are important in Python. First, names. Names are given to variables such as Celsius and Fahrenheit that we did in the previous example, or modules such as name, convert as a file name. So these names are called identifiers. So you can actually use any name that you want for any kind of identifiers. However, there are certain rules that we need to pay attention. So every identifier must begin with a letter or underscore followed by a sequence of letters, digits, or underscores. Identifiers are also case sensitive. So here are some examples that are valid Python names. So capital X, Celsius with capital C, spam all lowercase, spam with an A capital, spam and eggs with underscores, and another different casing. There are also, here are some other names that I think not only that they're valid, but they're also good names. They're good conventions. So I have lowercase x instead of uppercase x. I have Celsius, a lowercase, or spam, all lowercase. My GPA, for example, separated by underscore. And var1, for example, var followed by a number. So some identifiers are part of Python itself. These identifiers are known as reserved words. This means that they are not available for you to use as a name for a variable or anything that matter. So here are the list of keywords. You might recognize some of them already that we use: for, if, in, and false and true at some point, someplace. But again, you don't have to memorize them. Eventually, you're going to learn not to use them. All right, so next, expressions. The fragment of the code that produce or calculate new data values are called expressions. Expressions in most cases are the place that on right side of the equation or the assignment operator. So we also have some literals. They are used to represent a specific value, such as any kind of numeric value. Okay. And simple identifiers can also be expressions, like the variable x can be used as an expression or can be used in an expression. And also include our strings. So textual data or screen literals are also expressions themselves. Okay, here we go. So in this example here, we have x as a name identifier and it's been assigned 5. So 5 is here, not only is here our expression is 5. It's a simple one that evaluates itself. It's also 5 the numeral 5. And then once you assign 5 to x, you can use it to see the value. You can print, or you can put x inside another expression. However, if you try to use a name, like in this case spam, that you have not assigned anything to, or you have not initialized, you're going to get an error called name error, which basically says name spam is not defined. So it's either not defined or is defined before, is used before it's defined. So simple expressions can be combined using operators. Plus, minus, multiply, divide, also power are some of the simple ones. And then spaces are irrelevant within expression. It's a matter of programmer's choice to use spaces or not to use spaces. Okay, and within the compound expressions, the normal mathematical precedence or old order of operations applies. If you look at this example here, we'd see that we have to do parentheses are first, PAM does. So we'll do x1 minus x2 first. Then order of operations says divide the result of this by 2 and then multiply the entire thing by n. And plus spam divide by k cube. Okay, so output statement, you've seen this already. It's nothing new, but we can use print to print something on the console, and then print statement can print any number of expressions. Successive print statements will display on separate lines. Again, you can put as many expressions as you want as long as they're separate by comma. And then a bare print will print a blank line. Here's an example. 3 plus 4 will print 7. Again, 3 plus 4 is an expression, but it must be evaluated to single value, which is 7. So basically here's, when we call print, we call print for the number 7. In this case, we call print for 3, 4, and 7. And in this case, we call print for a blank line. This is interesting. So we call print for 3, 4, and we end with space instead of a new line. The new line is default. However, we can end with space. What that means is when we're done with this, we're gonna wait for the next instruction, which says print 3 plus 4, 7 next to it. Right. So in the next video, we're gonna talk about assignment statements.